Ask the Mayor. Your chance to ask the Mayor of Weymouth questions about the town and/or anything else that you have concerns about. Ask the Mayor is pre-recorded. And now it's Mayor Bob Hedlund.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the first episode of 2020, our 76th episode, if you can believe it, and you are tuned in to Ask the Mayor.
This isn't the first episode of 2020.
Sure it is. We haven't shot, this is the first one we shot this year.
Shot, but didn't premiere in 2020.
That's the first one. This is the first one that's being developed and shot in 2020. And you are tuned in to Ask the Mayor. I'm Jim Melody, your citizen advocate, the Inquisitor, and as always, I am joined by the Mayor of Weymouth in the year 2020, the spirit of 76 himself, Mr. Robert Hedlund. How are you today, Bob?
Wonderful, Jim.
Outstanding. Weather's fine. It's been a little chilly, and we are excited about a great year. Are you optimistic about what 2020 will bring?
It's actually very nice out today, Jim. It's not that chilly.
It sure it is. It sure in heck is. And aren't you coming from a golf course?
I just had a meeting at that tavern up there at Granite Links, yes.
Because you don't golf, but if you did, maybe today would have been a good day to break out the
I didn't
six.
see anyone out there.
Well, Robert, are you optimistic about what 2020 will bring the great town of Weymouth?
Yes.
Outstanding. I think we all are. Things continue to improve as we drive around town, and there certainly looks to be plenty to look forward to. All right, we're going to get right into it, Bob, as I know you hate my chit-chat. And let's get right into
Sometimes
this one.
I like it. Sometimes I don't. This
one is labeled priority. Subject, Abigail Adams sign placement in Bricknell Square. Hi.
Ooh, that's a priority.
Could the DPW remove, move, or raise up the Abigail Adams birthplace sign at the intersection of C and Bridge Street? Photo provided. The sign is obstructing the view of oncoming traffic for cars sitting at the red light and/or traveling on Route 3A. So if it is a traffic hazard, in this person's opinion apparently, it is on the island where the flower planter boat Chubby is located, I presume named after me. And thanks, and I think you're doing a great job. This is from Rob, not to be confused with Bob. What do you say, Bob, from Rob?
I wish we got more last names on these. Sometimes we get anonymous, sometimes we get full name, sometimes we get just the first name.
Perhaps he's Italian. It's priority, Rob, priority.
Show him the photo. The photo.
Oh, is the photo actually literally attached here?
Well,
Mary's kind enough to pull these up, but I have not seen the good ship Chubby. I am favorably predisposed to this as well.
You haven't seen the boat.
The good ship Chubby. Well, I used to be the captain of the ship until the mutiny down at the Weymouth Heights.
Is that near the Broad Street Fire Station, Jim?
I can honestly say I've never seen this in my life. Can you make the same claim?
I helped them get permission from MassDOT when they placed it there about 7 years ago.
Son of a gun.
6 years ago.
They don't allow me in the great kingdom of North Weymouth.
That's actually the flagship of the sovereign nation of North Weymouth's Navy.
Aha.
Actually, the Dory family, no pun intended, a dory, a boat, get it? The Dory family spearheaded efforts to put that there as a part of a little island, adopt an island beautification. It's pretty cool.
I think it looks phenomenal. This is one of the best ones I've seen.
We actually, I was sitting there at the intersection one day and had the idea, we put a town seal on the back of it, so it's jokingly, part of the Weymouth Naval Fleet. But I know what the gentleman is saying, and I thought we maybe got a question on this before, that someone else from North Weymouth raised this issue. Do you remember it? No? Or it could have been on social media or some other forum, or texted to me, or yelled at me, or emailed to me, it doesn't bother me. I'm at that intersection all the time, but I understand the point they're making. That I guess he's saying it obfuscates his view if you're at that intersection looking to the left.
It is obstructing the view of oncoming traffic for cars sitting at that red light and/or traveling on 3A.
But here's my point, and we'll have DPW look at it, and Owen or someone, but when the light turns green, you can proceed, and theoretically there are no cars coming through the red light southbound on Route 3A. So when I'm at that intersection and I want to take a left, I'm more concerned about the cars that are coming down C the other way that might want to be taking a left from their direction, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And I've looked at it because when I'm sitting there, because we did get this question before, when I'm at that intersection and I'm looking left, if you stop at that light at the stop line, you're not obfuscated. If you pull up a little further up, you might be it might obfuscate your view. So, but we'll look at it. But I think it was a nice enhancement to that island between the boat and everything else, and it's a nice little adopt island. But
Well, the shoe fits certainly with our nautical
and by the
heritage.
way, a little inside information. The reason that sign is there, we went through this in the show before too. We used to have those little directional signs that said Abigail Adams House. They're about this big. They were all demolished, bent, faded. You couldn't read them. It wasn't a fitting thing for the nation's greatest first lady. Or in your case, I know you rank her second after Melania. But we had some new signs made up, and there was a little snafu at DPW on the signs. I kind of designed them, and they said, this is what I want, and they kind of went the other way, and they put these arrows on the wrong ones. So we said, okay, we have these nice signs that we own now with arrows, so let's find a place to put them. So originally, that wasn't even one of the locations, but we had these beautiful signs with these arrows that were wrong. So we said, where can we put one that has a right arrow on it? We put it there, so that's the story behind that sign.
Bob, someone else actually not so long ago made a comment that it seems like the development of Bicknell Square it continues to be ongoing and positive. Is that something that the town's involved with, or is that more of a private
Well,
enterprise?
that would be news to me. What is the development at Bicknell Square?
It just seems to be.
We had a tailor move down the street, but other than that, I'm unaware of anything that's happening.
We had that 3A study.
Right. We have a study that's being done of the Bicknell Square area, but
It seems like some of the businesses have been like new and improved, or
Where?
maybe signage. I just driving down the road. Maybe I'm wrong. It sounds like I am.
You want another commercial corridor in town? I mean, we rezoned our commercial corridors to try to spur some activity,
Okay.
and the Bridge Street corridor, there's been nothing.
Okay. So work in
The
progress.
only-
still.
and actually, Bicknell Square wasn't included in the overlay zoning change. The overlay starts at U-Haul and goes to the Hingham line. The reason Bicknell Square wasn't included, from Bicknell Square to the bridge, you have a situation where there's a lot of homes that back up to the very narrow strip of commercially zoned property, and it wouldn't be feasible to create that overlay and have, some kind of mixed-use development that might go up a little bit further in height and impact the neighbors out behind there. So
Okay,
that's
sure.
why that wasn't included. But you're right, the study is being done. And there might be some, ideas that come out of that might help.
Yeah, it's always been parking and stuff. Anybody running the business, I've always
Actually,
felt bad at that
I
set
should
of
say,
lights.
and this might be news to the folks who own the property, and I directed them to them, and I don't know if they've heard from them, but there was just someone this past week that inquired about that block of stores. I don't want to get people's hopes up, but made an inquiry to my office about it.
Oh, great.
And was looking at the current zoning for some potential redevelopment. I know there's two property owners that go from the corner of C down past Everyday Cafe. So there's two different landowners there on that block of stores. One guy out of Rhode Island and someone who's very local that actually has a business in that block of stores.
Okay.
But, that's a heck of a spot.
Yeah.
Someday you'd hope that there'd be some redevelopment there.
Well, there's certainly get plenty of
potential.
traffic coming and going, but it's again, by virtue of the volume of traffic, it seems like it's a tough place for
People going to Hingham.
maybe coming and going for sure. Well, Bob, let's stay in North Weymouth because this one is also related to what's cooking on 3A, and this is the light pollution from the Fall River Bridge, and this is from Sandy. Hi, Mayor Bob. We love the blue lights on the Fall River Bridge. It's kind of like a local Zachem bridge, but the light goes so high into the sky that it's like the bat signal, and it is a bit much. It obscures the stars in the sky and reflects against the clouds. There are even Quincy residents who post weekly on Reddit that they think it is a UFO. Can it be toned down a little? Cheers, Sandy.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know if those could be dimmed or not. I mean, we have some fun, obviously, with the ability to request DOT to change the color scheme. We've done that, for Opiate Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Awareness Week. Wasn't an entire month that those were lit up that way, but I don't know about the dimming of them. I guess it's something we can look into, but that's the first complaint I heard of it. Generally, people have been accepting and excited about that becoming a landmark now, and It's kind of funny, you know, think of all the complaining there was when there were conceptual designs unveiled and people commenting how ugly it was, and now it seems it's pretty much embraced. I think the lights are a nice touch to it. My opinion.
It sounds that way, Bob. You know me, I'm always challenged on the who, what, where's, and whys of our
I'd love to
hometown.
see us, you know, have some control over opening times, which we don't under federal maritime law, but the bridge goes up and down a lot more efficiently than the old bridge for sure.
Where is the town line between, my question is, where's the town line between Weymouth and Quincy? Is it halfway over that bridge? Or
Center of the river.
The center of the bridge.
The river.
Okay, the river. Oh, no kidding. Which is not so coincidentally where the bridge is, though, no?
Probably close to the middle of the bridge.
Okay,
sure.
so you do have a little juice when it comes to what goes down with that bridge, that it sounds like. Well, these type of things.
We've suggested the changing of the lights. The one example of that would have been during Opiate Awareness Month. Someone involved in some of the town programming asked if we could request the state to do that, and they did.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. And wasn't there
We're
talk
gonna-
about
we're gonna-
renaming that bridge as well? Is that still on the table?
We're going to do something on your birthday, Jim, and have your favorite colors.
I'll look forward to it. Well, it's a red, white, and blue, baby. What about wasn't there some scuttlebutt about maybe potentially changing the name of that bridge as well?
It was suggested by residents that it be named for Sergeant Michael Chesna.
Okay.
That's not going to happen for a number of reasons. We're going to do something more appropriate for him.
Excellent.
Down the road, we have something possibly in the works, and people don't realize that's actually the Burke Bridge. The technical name of it is the Burke Bridge.
no
but
kidding, huh?
Nobody calls it the Burke Bridge. It's the Four River Bridge to all of us that grew up going over that.
Sure.
And our fear would be that if it's named the Chesna Bridge, people are still going to call it the Four River Bridge.
Right.
And there'd be resistance to undoing it from Burke, who it was memorialized for at some point along the way.
Well, we'll have to
Former Congressman Burke.
I was just going to ask
And
you.
by
if
the
you
way,
have a
when I was in
history
the
on
legislature, I was really not keen. I preferred memorializing things for, say, our military war dead, not for fellow political characters.
that. Elected officials, sure.
And I was happy that I played the lead role. It was kind of my idea to name the Hingham commuter boat terminal for Herbert Foss, Hingham's only Medal of Honor recipient. There was a big brouhaha in Hingham at the time I represented Hingham that, unlike Weymouth, Hingham had never done anything for their lone Medal of Honor recipient. And I found out that the T was going to name that for a local political character. And I got an amendment through naming it for Foss, and I was happy to do that.
That's phenomenal. And Bob,
But we want to do something for Sergeant Chesna. It's in the works.
and I think this has come up before. Our claim to fame in Weymouth, among the many.
He's really using his discretion and leeway as a citizen advocate. This is amazing. A question about the lights on Four River Bridge is evolving into a series of follow-up questions from you, Jim. You're really on your game today.
Are they relevant questions, and do you
They
approve
are.
of this line of
They
questioning?
are, which is
Outstanding.
amazing. They're actually relevant.
It's 2020. It's a whole new ball game, Bobby. We're moving forward at
I
episode
feel like
76.
I'm sitting with Dan Rather or Roger Mudd here.
Well, and in closing, I
People
believe
probably don't remember who Roger Mudd was. You know who Roger Mudd was?
he was a legendary newscaster, of course, an anchor
What was
of.
what was his defining moment?
Was it CBS? Was he the anchor before Cronkite?
He sunk Ted Kennedy's presidential race, remember?
Oh, what, over Chappaquiddick?
Asked him why you're running for president.
And that was a tricky question. Holy smokes, Bob! I
Can you
keep-
show a clip of that? Can you?
How did you phrase the question?
Why do you want to be president? That was it. That's all I said.
Why do you want to be president?
Well, I'm
That'd be great.
I keep trying to get to, and I think this is something we've covered in the past. Weymouth, in fact, is one of our many claims to fame. Is we have the single most recipients of the
We
Medal
make
of
the
Honor.
claim.
in-
We make that
in the
claim.
United States of America.
No one has. This is true. Nobody has ever really disputed that claim. We haven't heard any dispute from Washington, from military. There's one person that disputes the claim.
Roger Mudd.
A one-time guest inquisitor
Well, I know it wasn't Chief Grimes.
Who would dispute that? Who would be the contrarian here in town? We'll leave it at that.
Well, stay tuned, as we say in the wonderful world of television.
Maybe there's another clip you can throw in.
Well, Bob, we're going to keep moving forward then, and we're not breaking records for questions, but we are getting a lot of information out there. Bob, this one's on flags and illumination of flags in our town, and this is from Ed Hartnett. Hello, Mayor Bob and Jim, America the Beautiful Melody. Does the town have any sort of mandate on how flags are displayed in town and how they should be displayed at night when they are not brought in at night? I thought I noticed a few flags on the ragged side in town and was curious about any schedule the town keeps on replacing aging flags. When the flags are replaced, what is the proper procedure in disposing of them, and who is responsible for that? Thank you, Ed Hartnett, and we thank you, Ed.
Hey, great question.
Yeah.
So we follow the standard U.S. flag protocol. When there's a half-mast situation, we follow the directive from the governor. I have discretion, obviously, on local situations. For instance, when Mayor Madden passed away, we put the flags at half-staff. He correctly is dead on about, he noticed a couple tattered ones. We recently had the one at Whitman's Pond, all of a sudden, in heavy winds, became shredded instantaneously. It took us a few days to get to that, but I think that's been addressed. So we don't have a schedule to replace them. It's obviously on just normal, maintenance. If it appears as though it needs to be replaced, we replaced it. I think some hold up longer than others. But the other thing is, again, following the standard U.S. flag protocol, ones that are left out at night are supposed to be illuminated. I'll bring your attention to one. We have solar lights on the one at Heritage Park, the park that's in progress. Do you know where Heritage Park is?
I know where Heritage Lane is.
Okay. Where's Heritage Park?
Of course, I have no idea where that is. Washington and
where the site of our future park will be.
Wait a minute, sorry.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a minute.
I'll tell you. And everybody else is that Washington.
We got to get to the questions.
But specifically, give me, where's Washington Middle? I've heard a small park was in the works, but I see nothing going on over there. Is the town moving forward to upgrade that area? So where's their public space over there?
So we're getting ahead of her before she even asked the question.
Okay, go ahead.
Prior to our 400th, we will have that area renovated, cleaned up.
But where's the public space in that area where?
In between Winter, Washington, and Middle.
So, all right,
we'll show you.
Okay.
We'll show you on the graphic.
I think I'm with you.
Next question.
Jeff.
When you tune in and watch it, they'll put a graphic up with a big arrow. Do you watch? The question once again becomes: do you watch this show? So
yes.
We got a lot of questions on it. I think at one point the.
Wait a minute. Where is Heritage Park?
I'm telling you,
okay,
the work we did at the intersection of actually the geographical center of Weymouth.
Which now I know is by that Walmart across from the Puppuccinos. I do watch the show.
So I noticed one night.
And that's Heritage Park.
Yeah, one night I went by and I said, "We're not following flag protocol here. What's going on?" Because part of the work we're doing there, we put a flagpole up, and we have solar lights on it because the power is not connected yet to that site, and the battery cell must have been pretty weak that night. So that's something we're addressing.
Okay.
Good question, though, Ed.
Bob, we have segued clumsily into our centerpiece here today because red, white, and blue did just come up. Could you comment? This was placed here, and I'm not exactly sure the reason why. The Free Jacks, I understand, a rugby team. This is a rugby ball. This is a red, white, and blue
You're
scarf.
going to be able to walk from your house right to
At
their
Union
stadium.
Point, I know there was, they played there last year, if I'm not mistaken, and that stadium that they put together was kind of cool. What's the progress of that? And are they
I don't think they did play there last year.
Well, there was a rugby squad that played there
Yeah,
last
I don't
year.
think it
and
was
so-
the official.
It's not the Free Jacks?
So this is this rugby league. I'm not an expert on rugby, professional rugby, but they've had a couple meetings here going over everything for the upcoming season. It was interesting to listen to them. There's a couple of very successful franchises. I guess it's really big on the West Coast, but they have modest attendance projections, and they're full steam ahead. And we have our first professional sports franchise in the Free Jacks.
And they'll be playing at Union Point. I know
Yes.
you alluded to that because you walked to it. So that space that they were playing in was kind of temporary, it seemed. Is there going to be something more permanent that's going to be assembled there?
Yeah, they're going to have, obviously more longer term, but they'll have some food facility, there'll be tailgating type activities going on, and I think they're going to have, interim concession type stuff going on there.
Interesting. But we officially are going to be the home of is it the Boston Free Jacks or the Weymouth Free Jacks? Or what's
Good question. Now.
To
I
be
can't
determined,
remember.
maybe. Okay.
No, it's not to be determined.
Yeah.
The league, has their franchises. I think it might be, they either have a New England designation or the Boston designation. I can't remember. But they're not going to be known as Weymouth, no.
And approximately, what's the schedule look like? How many games will they have?
I had all this, Jim, off to get
Yeah,
you blindsided me on
No,
this one. I can't remember the total schedule. It's not a heavy schedule.
Are they usually Saturday afternoon? They seem to be a weekend thing.
I'm 0 for 3
Yeah,
now.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Ask me
I know
some
it's no-
baseball questions.
Yeah. Well, what were your thoughts on the two guys that just got into the Hall of Fame?
I will say though, the presentation they made was great.
Excellent.
Really seems like competent crew. They, told us about who the franchise owner is, et cetera, et cetera. I think I know they have a franchise in San Diego and another West Coast team. They're big.
Oh, this is national then. The Free Jacks will be traveling the country. Okay.
They have some big attendance out there. You can check it out on Wikipedia. There's a lot of information there.
Excellent. Go check out the Free Jacks, and we'll see what this season will bring.
I've never seen a rugby
I
game.
don't understand the first thing about it. Is it a summer sport? Or will we get started? Who knows when the fuck?
0 for 4 now.
All right, then we're going to keep moving on. Hey, listen, as we make our way through this inaugural episode of 2020, first one shot, we remind people to keep the questions coming to askmayorbob@gmail.com. AskMayorBob@gmail.com.
He was a professional athlete at one time.
In fact, professional would mean you got paid. I will accept world championship athlete, but we never
This
actually
is for
made money
real.
off it. Yeah.
And it was probably on a sport that draws as well as
It's ultimate frisbee, and ultimate is on its way to becoming an Olympic sport as well. There is a professional ultimate league as well these days, and perhaps I could have made my fame and glory.
Do you know
back
that
in
Rec
those
is
days.
building a frisbee golf facility?
Well, Weymouth are they really?
We'll have to get you involved in
I'm
that. Next
surprised.
question. Let's go.
There you go. All right. Well, listen. Hi, Mayor. Another priority question. It's exciting to see the new Tufts Library being built, but I'm wondering.
Jim, all of our questions are priority.
Well, somebody took a pen on this and put it to the paper here, identifying it as such.
What does priority mean?
They weren't asked from the last episode.
Oh, they're holdover questions from the
Holdover,
previous
okay.
taping.
Well, again, keep the questions. We need new questions at askmayorbob@gmail.com. Hi, Mayor. It's exciting to see the new Tufts Library being built, but I'm wondering about what will happen when it opens in 2020. Do you plan to close the smaller library branches? Thank you, Bill N.
This is another question we've gotten in the past. So just for a little context, obviously this library is going to be a significant draw. It's going to be much more of an attraction than what we had there before. So we'd anticipate that you're probably not going to want to go to your local branch generally. Weymouth, this is according to the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, Weymouth has more libraries per capita than any community in Massachusetts.
Whoa, that's a fun fact.
Except for Barnstable and
It's
Springfield.
in Cambridge.
Springfield's got a ton. They had some benefactor years and years ago, and they put them up in all kinds of neighborhoods, very small branches, but we have more per capita than any community except those two. I don't believe moving forward we can justify keeping 4 of them open. We haven't had formal discussions on that, but that is the direction that I certainly want to take it.
Okay.
And the expenses associated with running the new Tufts are going to be more. So that's another argument for a little further consolidation. I've had some informal, very informal discussions with one of the district councilors who would be affected, and they have no problem with that, depending upon what the use and the repurposing of the building is. Now, obviously, we just invested a lot in FOG. I wouldn't think that FOG would be on that hit list, being candid here, and maybe getting ahead of the process a little bit. But the other problem we have is, for instance, Tufts Library, home to WETC, ETC, and Pratt, I mean. Tufts is we're replacing. Pratt has some covenants associated with it that would require some legal and legislative maneuvering to change the use of that because of the strings attached when money was bequeathed to us to build that.
So some private money was offered when that was originally construction,
I believe Mr. Pratt, is that not correct?
So the home of our good friends at WETC.
Correct. In fact, I was there yesterday taping another show. My friends on the other dial on
The other
Channel
side, the other side of
9.
the dial. Well, there's
I made my, I think, second foray into that station during my term.
As a fun fact for all our viewers, I have a history when I do my house cleaning of trying to donate books and videos and DVDs and CDs to the library, as opposed to throwing them out. And I called about a month ago with a pretty extensive collection of DVDs and CDs, wondering if they would be accepted.
I could make a joke right now. If they would be accepted. I'm not going to go there. This is a family show, Jim.
And I asked if they would be interested in accepting the donation as they have in the past, and they said they are not currently accepting donations of new product because of the space constraints that are being involved right now in the new construction.
All right, next question.
Well, I think, do we have time for one more question? Okay,
We do.
Mary, one person's going like this and one person's going like this. All right, so here we go. Hi, Mayor Bob. I have been following the protests at the compression station now that they have been building there. What safety measures have been taken to protect the public from contaminants that are becoming airborne while they are digging there? The police officer that is doing the details are inhaling toxins for sure from the sovereign state of North Weymouth. How does that sound? Construction's begun, apparently.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of information flying around on social media about what trucks are carrying, which trucks are carrying what. Why doesn't this truck have a tarp? Workers who might have contaminated soil on their boots going across the street and having a beer after work and tracking in mud, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we haven't had any significant documented instances of the contractors down there not following all requirements spelled out in the remediation plan and under 21E regulations. I mean, they're being watched like a hawk, obviously, and there's a lot of concern, some legitimate and some unfounded, but generally there's no contaminated soil coming off the site yet.
Or they're referring to becoming airborne when they're digging there. So in other words, right now, it seems like this is more fodder for the rumor mill than a reality.
I won't say that, but we haven't had, we're doing the best we can do to monitor the situation with our town solicitor, with our conservation commissioner, et cetera, conservation officer, et cetera, et cetera. Are we there every minute? No. I mean, we're getting criticisms on how the police are handling themselves. We've got a private job up the street people thought was associated with that. There's been a lot of information flying around. Some are rumors, but they raise a legitimate issue and we're watching it the best we can.
Okay, so it's certainly something that everybody's keeping an eye on.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, look, it sounds like we need to wrap up this inaugural edition of Ask the Mayor. Again, please keep the questions coming to askmayorbob@gmail.com. Thanks again for tuning in. And Bob, any final words as we look to segue away from our next episode?
We want to look forward to the next taping. You got a good backlog of questions there, Jim.
Yep, there's plenty to talk about for sure. Now, once again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay tuned for
Ask the Mayor.
Ask the Mayor. That's a new one.
If you have a question, please email the mayor at askmayorbob@gmail.com. That's askmayorbob@gmail.com. Maybe your question will be answered on the next episode of Ask the Mayor.